Hey everybody, it's Mason, and today I got myself a Chinese. This is gonna be my attempt at recreating British Chinese food, except I only have access to American Chinese food. I think it's been trending in the past year or so that British people have been showing off their Chinese carryout orders, or as they call it, Chinese takeaway. One of the biggest things that stood out to me was that everything was really brown. Some of the common foods that you might come across in those videos is pretty much all of this stuff. I have sweet and sour chicken, which I'm pretty sure is our equivalent of their chicken balls. There's also vegetable spring roll, an egg roll just because it was free with the meal. Very plain lo mein. I have chips, which unfortunately none of the restaurants around me had a salt and pepper chili chip recipe. So I'm gonna try to make my own using some of this Lao Gan Ma chili oil. I know it's not gonna taste very similar at all, but I at least wanted to get the fries in there with the mix. And then finally, I have some egg fried rice. And I thought it was gonna be more plain because the British have it super plain, it's just fried rice and egg. But it looks like there is some onion and peas in there too. So let's plate this up. I got my big wide plate as I've seen in a lot of videos, and we're just gonna start layering on all this brown and fried goodness. Egg fried rice down. And I'm trying to copy the order too of ingredients. Next is the chow mein, as they say, which I guess there is a difference between lo mein and chow mein. I think chow mein is usually more dry, but most restaurants around here is just lo mein, where it's a little more saucy. I'll put down my chips. I'll drizzle on a little bit of this Lao Gan Ma chili oil. Add in some chicken balls. And the two rolls. Oh, and of course I forgot to mention it, but I also have a curry sauce here, which I kind of had to do a little bit of tweaking myself to try to make something that seems similar to what the British have. And here's the sweet and sour sauce that goes with the chicken. So let's drizzle some of this sweet and sour sauce where it's supposed to go. And a little bit on the noodles and fries. Why not? On everything. I think that's how I've seen it. And then this is my semi-homemade curry sauce. If you all are not familiar with it, most Chinese restaurants have a type of gravy. So this is the gravy that's supposed to go on egg foo young. And egg foo young is like a Chinese omelet where you put this brown gravy on it. It kind of just tastes like beef broth, but thick. So I used some of this and added some curry powder in it. And it tastes like Japanese curry almost. But from what I've seen from some videos, I feel like British Chinese food curry sauce leans more towards Indian flavors, because I saw a restaurant like take a bunch of curry paste from like a huge vat and it was kind of red. So this was the closest I could get. Okay, I'm sure that took way too long plating it up, but half the fun of those videos is just seeing how the British pile on their fried brown Chinese food. So let's finally get into it. I'm gonna start off with a chicken ball. I love sweet and sour chicken. I mean, of course I knew what it would taste like, although I haven't had it with a curry sauce before. Some of you might know that my dad used to own a Chinese restaurant, so I've actually eaten a lot of sweet and sour chicken in my life. He used to like pre-fry them and they'd be cooling on a rack with like a bunch of levels. So like maybe 3 or 4 trays, huge trays full of sweet and sour chicken, because it's a really popular item. And when I was a kid, I would sneak pieces of sweet and sour chicken off of it. So just like the plain one of these, I just go back there and take a couple pieces and snack on it throughout the day. All right, let's go for a chip. It's got a little bit of the chili oil on it from the laoganma, and that actually tastes really good. And then some lo mein. I would never put gravy and sweet and sour sauce on it, but here I am doing it. I'm pretty surprised, actually. I feel like you lose a lot of the individuality of all of these different things. But all together, they work pretty well. Here's the veggie spring roll. And I bet if the British curry sauce was even more spiced than what I have now, it'd work really, like, even better. I want more sauce. I'm a fiend for it now. I need both of them. People in America think that this is so crazy. And you know, I thought it was crazy too. I wouldn't comment on people's videos about their British Chinese food, but I thought it. I was like, you British people, you don't know anything. Why would you drown everything in sweet sauce and gravy? But I get it. I think I want to try to make my own salt and pepper chili chips because it looked pretty easy from some of the recipes I've seen. It was like, it starts with a base of just some toasted onions, and then they put fresh chilies. It looks like Thai red chilies. So onions, Thai red chilies, and then red pepper flakes. And then they toss that together with French fries. So it's probably a pretty simple recipe, but it's just not a thing that we do over here. Also, between egg rolls and spring rolls, I prefer the spring rolls. I've never really been a big egg roll person. But it was free. Egg rolls have that like dense texture, and it like bubbles up when it fries. But then spring rolls taste nice and crispy and light. I don't know if I'm late to the party on trying out British Chinese food, or at least trying to make it at home. But for anybody who is in America or just doesn't have Chinese food like that, have you ever tried this before? I think by now, with all of the sauces mixed together a lot, it really turns it into like one mash of good flavor. But it is more one note, which I'm not really as big of a fan of. You know, in general, I don't really like to mix my food. I think the ideal way to eat this probably would be to keep the sweet and sour chicken undressed and then dip it into whichever sauce that you want. Like if you're feeling curry, do that. Sweet and sour sauce, do that. And then maybe put a little bit of sauce on top of your rice or noodles. But not everything needs to have the same amount of sauce, because then it's just all sauced up. Too sauced up. Been a long time since I had sweet and sour chicken though. I like it. I've always liked it. I've just always tried to be more balanced with the things that I get. Now, get some vegetables in here. And you know, compared to British Chinese food, like over there in the UK for real, they wouldn't have things like peas in it. They have not a hint of green. Not bad for a first impression. I think if I went to the UK and got something like this, I'd be pretty happy for experiencing it. At least now I know what to expect. And yeah, sweet and sour chicken is going to be good anywhere. I don't think that Chinese people living in the UK are going to make stuff like lo mein or fried rice or chicken balls any worse than Chinese people living over here. So that's a plus. Thanks everybody for hanging out with me while I tried this creation. It was a pretty interesting one, to say the least. And I feel a little bit more culturally expanded. I now know another side of Chinese food, which I've been completely unaware of my whole entire life. Thanks everybody for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video.